Why is it so hard to grow my YouTube channel? I finally figured out the algorithm. But is it repeatable? Wow, that is absolutely incredible. Now let me help you set up this workflow step by step on your computer.
The idea of these live streams, again, that I try to mention is that I'm not here to make it exciting. You can watch our shorter form videos on that or tutorials. The idea is to make sure that if any mistakes happen or hallucinations happen with the AI, you're actually going to specifically do the best outcomes you can get out of it. Okay, is that clear? Because there's a big difference when you're trying to replicate somebody, a YouTuber mentioning something, and then when you try to replicate it, no matter the tool, oftentimes, right, it's never going to be the same. That's the whole point of AI, right? And the second thing you're going to notice is that, like I said, right, the one of the folks here was mentioning, hey, I can't really get the ChatGPT to have that work thing set up. Why? Well, you got to update it, right? You got to update the latest version. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Google and you're going to say Chat GPT desktop app, right? And you're going to get the latest one. Whatever it is, you're using a Mac, you're using a Windows, whatever, that's going to come up with this new work update. Okay. Now, what is the difference between the work and the normal version? Okay. Again, try to explain it to you. Work will do tasks for you. And then the normal one is gonna basically do general research kind of stuff, right? Both have their use cases, but as we go into AI doing tasks for us, we are gonna have to basically do this more in the case of application layer, right? Meaning getting it to do work for us. So that is the idea here. So if I go and repeat certain concepts, it's to basically ensure that you get it, right? Until you get it. Once you get it, you don't have to do it again. So make sure you download this, and then you have the updated version for the work. And this also will work on the desktop, and as well, in many cases, when you're trying the GPT thing to also be its own web-based application, either works, up to you really. So the goal here is like when we go into the desktop application, you can effectively, it's gonna open up and it's gonna do all kinds of workflow stuff for us, right? So let me actually export this video in the time being, this example video that I have, and I'm gonna say viral short video, okay? And then we're gonna export this stuff, and while it's doing its thing, I'll kind of explain how I did this, okay? So first things first, we wanna pick the type of niche, the market, and everything else we're trying to enter, okay? So what I suggest always when people are getting started is that you wanna always work with shorts first in order to kind of get your, let's say an understanding about the algorithm and some of the components there, okay? And I kind of will explain this to you with actual proof as well, so you can see it and play around with it. And so that's those who are kind of skeptical why this works or doesn't work, we kind of have that. So first of all, we tap into these steps. The first step that I always want to mention that you're clear on is that you want to ensure that you have a niche selected. If you don't know how to do niche research, I mentioned this in a live stream as well before, so you can work with that. And the second thing that I recommend you to understand always is make sure that you have, for example, who the target audience is and what's the goal, right? What's your goal? So for example, if your goal is to get monetized on YouTube, right? In order to generate some revenue or whatever with it, with AdSense and that sort of thing. If this is the goal, then you want to start with shorts. Second thing, if the goal is actually to grow a business, right? Or product, sell a product or service, what you have to do is ensure that if that is the case, shorts are a way to kind of get the people to subscribe and stuff. And you're going to create the long form videos, okay, in order to get actually to sell products and stuff or anything, right? Because in shorts, you don't have time to actually sell anything, okay? Very important you understand these two goals. This is the biggest misconception people have when I'm trying to teach people and how to do stuff, is that they look at my YouTube channel in this particular case and they'll say, well, yeah, only 47,000 subscribers or something. And here's the thing, on a stats basis as well, which I try to explain, is that it doesn't matter how many views or subscribers the channel has. What really matters is what's the end goal of that channel, right? If I'm in the shorts channel, for example, like the one I showed you to generate these videos, the main thing you have to understand here is it's optimized for view retention and these things, right? Like meaning when I post the video, how many people are watching, how many people are leaving, and that kind of thing, right? So I'll show you an example of it so you understand, because sometimes you have to kind of drive home that point in a way. So let me actually pull this up and show you in my screen real quick so you understand this in a basic nutshell way. Okay, so when you are actually looking at certain metrics, right, whatever the analytics metrics or whatever they are, the biggest misconception obviously that people make is that they kind of think, okay, AdSense revenue is more important or whatever it is it might be, right? So for example, if I show you this in my YouTube channel, the one you're kind of paying attention to right now, I'll highlight this one so you can see it, right? In the month of May, this generated about $5,537.28 in terms of the AdSense revenue in this particular channel, right? And for some of you, it might be a lot, but for me, this is nothing, right? I mean, we spend more just in salaries and stuff for our team that we have. Exponentially higher, right? Probably you spend like this in a day just in our salaries alone, and with advertising and other things we do, right? Now, like we're spending, like last year we spent all in, right, just over $10 million and just the stuff. So this $5,000 means nothing to me. What I'm really looking for is in the month of May, for example, our company as a whole, generated well into the several hundreds of dollars, like into the basically the 7-figure mark, right? So that doesn't matter, is what I'm saying. Right? What you're really looking for is metrics that help you understand alignment, right? So if I go to here, let's go look at the metrics here, right? So if you go into this, I want to tell you how the algorithm kind of works so you understand, okay? So if you go in here, audience, so you see how it reached 1.5 million users, 1.4 people have subscribed and stuff like that. But what is of importance for me, and some things is like the number is just for us to know the metrics, right? If I go into the custom here, and if I put April, right? And I want to show you the difference that was made with the workflow that I'm teaching you today to that can be applied across even TikTok, that can be applied across whatever, okay? You can use Claude for it, you can use ChatGPT for it, whatever, if you can understand the fundamentals of it, right? If I put April, I'll show you something interesting here. Watch. Okay, in April, I did $2,808. Again, I don't really care about this number because what's my goal? My goal is to drive more revenue, more sales for applications like VideoExpress and stuff. So for me to earn this or doesn't earn it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, it's a insignificant number for me. So what changed here between 2,808? But just the number is to know, right? Something changed, meaning more people watched, more people finished videos and stuff like that, right? So what changed between April and May that it doubled almost? What changed is exactly what I'm going to teach you today. Okay, so here's what changed, and I'll tell you step by step so you can play around with it. And of course, you can use this stuff to automate things as well, but the fundamentals really apply here. Okay, so what changed here is that I understood the algorithm in a nutshell, all right? So that you can get a flow of it. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they don't understand the goal out of it, right? So here, right, and in this particular case, so you understand, right, is that what changed here is basically the understanding of the retention, okay, that we are aiming for, right? And also what's understanding is that thinking like the person who's going to watch it, right? So what we like to call the ideal avatar, okay? So meaning what I started to do is that I started focusing on the end goal a person is looking for. So in this particular case, what people were watching my videos before, and I noticed this as well, is that they'll say, hey, I like the concepts, but show me something that I can copy and paste, right? Show me something that I can do, like a workflow, right? So I started to focus on the end outcome, okay, that a person who would watch a video is aiming for. This can also be done by shorts, but in the particular case of shorts, right, if you just, the end outcome is AdSense revenue, let's say, this is the whole thing, like get monetized, hey, just go do this, right? Just go find these viral channels and just replicate them, right? Simple, right? You just go do the process where you can go to ChatGPT and you can do, which is, I'll teach you this, because one of the things is people getting started is really difficult, right? When you get started, you can go do other things, right? And then when you don't get started, you start panicking, right? So the idea is that we want to make sure we do things properly the first time and understand what our goal is. And then the third thing is once we start applying that into the real world business of what we are trying to do, the growth is exponential. Because if you're just looking for AdSense, just do the shorts because it's going to be where you can manage multiple channels and all that. If the goal is basically to get revenue, sales, leads, sell a product or service, then the outcome is more important. At that point, views don't matter. Okay, does that make sense? So I'll have basically cases where like my content, I'll have 10,000 views in a video, in another video, I'll make 40,000. The 10,000 view video will make me more than 1 million view shorts will ever make. Is that clear? So if you understand that, the whole process will be clear. Okay, am I in alignment with what you're trying to do? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Just say yes or no if you get it, because then we'll go to the next step. Okay, which is understanding now what's to do next. Okay, because when you get the point, because a lot of times, right, a lot of people will see something here and they'll be like, I don't know how to get monetized, so I give up. Right? If monetization is where you're stuck, just do shorts. Okay, clear? I'll teach you both, by the way. And if it is revenue, okay, is what you want, then you want to focus on the outcome that you're trying to achieve to your end user. Very different. Okay, and here it's all about views. I just don't care about anything. It's all about completion, right? How many people are completing the video or whatever, right? Here, okay, it's all about basically getting to the finish line of a person coming and watching something, and then they are buying. Okay, they buy. Is that clear? So this is where we have to have that differentiation. People don't understand these two differentiation concepts, and then they struggle thinking, why am I not successful? Because look, if your definition of success is 1 million views, if this is the definition of success, then hey, look, then 1 million views is a success, just go with shorts. Okay, if the definition of success is revenue generated for you, then you focus on the outcome that the video is trying to achieve. Completely different worlds. Okay, this was the mistake I was making, and this is the boy. It took me about 10 months to figure it out, trying and tweaking and stuff. I built a system that you can copy today that I'll teach you, that you can use with Claude, you can use with ChatGPT, you can use with whatever. I'll teach you with ChatGPT for simplification. Otherwise, I'm jumping through multiple applications. So the idea is like, we have that goal outlined now. We have the process. Now, what is the prerequisites? This is the other thing, right? The prerequisite in order to do this, right, is nothing, right? You just need a free YouTube account. The prerequisite in order for revenue is you have to have a product or a service. You see? So it's a little bit more harder, right? You got to have a product or a service that you want to sell people. So the idea is that if you don't have anything, then start with shorts. If you have something, start with the outcome and the longer form, even a short form, but the idea will be, the goal will be clear cut. Does that make sense? So if that is true, what we are discussing is true, and if that is the case, then let's look at the algorithm, how it treats, why would a video like this get 3.4 million views, and why would a video, let's say, which got 10,000 views gets more revenue? That's a better question to answer, correct? So now, let's discuss that. In the form of shorts, when I'm creating a short video, I try to kind of decipher what's happening, okay? What is happening here that this thing got views? Because I could replicate this in VideoExpress. That's not the question, right? You can easily do it, which I'll show you today. Very straightforward. But why is this succeeding? So in a short video, this is very simple, okay? I'll teach you two components. One, okay, is you need to have some stakes happening, what we call stakes. What is stakes? It's basically where you are gonna have an audience emotional graph, okay? So when somebody watches a short video, they're just toggling, right? Like they're, it's automatically showing up. They're not even searching for these, right? So emotional stages, right? So when somebody's watching something, they want to go through an emotional journey, even in a short video. It sounds kind of silly, but it's true. So what we are looking at is that we are going to do something that looks like this, okay? This is the graph, okay, of emotion. So in here will be happy, okay? So happy. And then we're going to do something that is sad. Then we can do something which is, again, maybe shocking. And then sad. or happy, whatever. You can rotate it. The idea is don't make the video all about happiness. Don't make the video all about sadness. Don't make the video all about shock. Don't make the video all in one thing. You want to have a person have a roller coaster of emotions on a short video. Okay? This is the fundamental thing of why these things are clicking, why these things are getting millions of views, because YouTube's algorithm is like this for a short video. They'll check what's called audience retention rate, right? And I'll show you the example of this in just a sec, okay? Audience retention rate, they need for a short video like this, 82% or more in order to encourage this to everybody, right? We want to show it to everybody. They want to get this. Does that make sense? 82%. That's the retention they are looking for, meaning 82% of the people watch this video and more people maybe watch it multiple times. That's a lot, right? So a lot of this graphs we're talking about has to be up and down, because if you look at like real stats that I'll show you in my own YouTube account, I'll hopefully show you here. So if you go into the content, and I'll show you something interesting here, you'll see in real time, hopefully if it loads. Yeah, so if you see live, right, like a live stream like what I'm doing right now, you see this one right here. And if you come here, you see where it says average view retention is 14 minutes, even though it's like an hour long, right? 2 hours long, only 14 minutes is watched. Isn't that interesting, right? Only 14. And then if you go down to the, I'll show you here if I can play it, the audience. Let's put audience here, yeah. Yeah, so this audience here, and I'll show you one other thing, one sec. If I play the exact video, you see here, like even, like I'll show you this. You see this, where it says external? This is basically where you can suggestions and somebody recommended it to somebody or shared it. And this is browse features. Browse features is where people are like browsing through somewhere and it shows the home page or whatever. And suggested videos, this is basically where one video finished, another video will be suggested, and on, right? So what I want to pay attention to is this video in particular, and go click on engagement. So this particular video was 2 hours long, okay? And generated about $1,321 in revenue in AdSense, but it generated a lot more for our products like VideoExpress, Artistly, and stuff like that, right? And then if I go into engagement, I'll show you something interesting. So look, let's look at it, right? So 21,000 people viewed it, right? And if I go into engagement, I'll show you. Only 15 minutes was watched, okay, off that 2-hour video. Just kind of, you know, the attention span these days, right? But what I wanted to show you is the retention graph here. This is key. This is the reason why it's so hard for people to, you know, do well and get monetized. So if you look at it here, like, let me show you. At 0 seconds in, 73% of the people are watching this video, okay? And then it drops at 1 minute, 20 seconds. 1 minute, 20 seconds. That's 80 seconds later. Only 37% people are watching the video. Okay? So let me repeat that again. Okay, so you understand the problem here. So the minute the video even started, like the second, I mean, a minute is the wrong word. So about 7% of the people left without even watching 1 second of the video. They didn't even watch a second of it. Like they watched maybe a couple of seconds. They bailed, right? It's called bounce rate. And by about 60 seconds, okay, 60 seconds, okay, which is funny, by 60-second to 80-second mark, okay, right? By the 80-second mark, almost a vast majority, like something like 70% or some people left, okay? So now, you see the difference now. I still don't care. When it's long form content, I'm really looking for these audiences. You see this section right here? The people who are there. So if you look at the numbers specifically, and I want to show you this breakdown. So on a pure percentage basis, that's 10%. Right here, you see 11, 12, 10%. This audience is guaranteed to buy from you. Okay? So to look at it from a perspective of 22,000 people watched it, 10% stuck around. What is the number here? 2,200, right? Something like that. Okay? 2,200 people. So just about more than 2,000. Now, these 2,000 people end up going and buying a product. So in this particular case, let's say it was VideoExpress, they'll end up going and buying, right? Our other product. In the case of like something else, maybe Artisty or whatever, right? And that amount could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Compared to just the AdSense revenue this video made, which is like $1,000 or something. 200x difference, okay? So 100x difference between minimum, right? 100x to 200x, whatever, based on what the AdSense income, what YouTube pays you for putting some ads on the video, to actually what revenue that video could derive for you in the long run. Okay? Does that make sense now? So this is the reason why it's important. What is the goal? If you have a product or service, right? Of course, you want to improve these retention metrics, which I'll teach you about. But if you have a product or service, don't worry if like in the beginning, like 70% of the people bail, right? In this particular case, it's just depressing when you look at it. It's not fun to look at that number, okay? So if you see what I'm trying to say, focus on that 10% here, okay? These are the people who will watch more of your videos, more of your content, and end up spending money with you and stuff. Obviously, the bigger that number is, the better. So that's where shorts come in, okay? When you're doing short form content. Why does that come in? Because then what happens is if they finish the shorts videos, the ideal drop-off rate of those people will be much lesser, right? Because they watched other content from you, and then they move to the long form and stuff. So this 10% number might be much higher, okay? As time goes on, okay? Because it's compounding. So in the case of content, what I believe is 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 is not equal 4. It is more equal to something like 12, okay? Compounded growth. Because what happens is this video will generate, say, 1,000 in AdSense revenue, but it will generate 100x that in product revenue. Then those people will end up joining our Facebook group, and then they will actually, be a part of our community. They will learn, they will share, they will spread the good word, they'll leave good reviews. So the idea is that it's compounding, right? That is the reason why we are so big in content, and why we, focus so much on the AI part of it, where AI video, lip sync, voice cloning, and some of these things. It's because of the compounded concept for video. You don't need it to do really well. One video is good enough, where the compounded thing can happen, right? So this is the algorithm, okay, in a nutshell, okay? So that you understand this flow, okay? Now, why I'm trying to tell you all this is that my actual channel might not get the most amount of, in this, I have other channels too, which I'll share with you in the next future trainings, because they're a little bit different in that concept. But the point is, like, this channel, I don't really care about the revenue it makes. I don't even really care the views it makes. Of course, more the better. I really care about this number. And then if these people are in the 10,000 people mark, right? Ideally, this is my segment that I can then do. Like right now it's 2,200. So my goal would be to 5x. This is my metric, right? We say key performance indicators or whatever. This is my metric I'm looking for, right? So for that, I need to generate better content. I got to generate better results, better outcomes for people, okay? Because what happens, right? People come to VideoExpress, just like you, will open up a blank screen, assuming there were no videos here. You're just going to stare at a blank screen and you give up. Like, my goal is for you to use this stuff to generate revenue, right? And whatever you want to do. Okay, so the outcomes. So that's the basic idea here. We use these AI tools to help us to get to the end result much better, much faster. But we don't want AI to do 100% of the work. Very important, okay? AI should not do 100% of the work, because when you do that, you will be penalized by platform. People will think it's fake, it's AI generated, and you're going to augment with AI, not be really like make AI slop, right? This is a big thing, because for future as well, it'll help you think long term, okay? Because we're talking compounded growth. Longer term is more important than short term thinking, okay? So this is the flow. So now let's talk about it step by step, and then we'll discuss this. So first of all, for shorts, let's talk about the shorts framework, okay? Shorts. So in the case of shorts, okay, what we're really looking for is the type of videos that are actually, having these emotional graphs to them, and then they're playing around, right? So I take, let's say this is the video I'm trying to replicate, and this is the video I replicated within VideoExpress, which has those viral elements and stuff like that. So what I'm really looking for now, is if I do vertical, okay, let me just pull this up, see, right? So this is the vertical tab within VideoExpress. You go very vertical. So what I'm really looking for right now is to add my manual touches. So for example, what I mean by manual touches is you could add animations like this to the right. That's why we have these animations. Like, we don't want you to just think like, you know, AI will do everything. I'll just sit back and stuff. Because what happens is if 10,000 people copy you, then it becomes AI slop and then you get penalized. A lot of YouTube channels got demonetized recently for being in the AI space, just trying to do 100% automation. And then now you're trying to go uphill. Right? Not the best option. You want to ride the wave, not go against it, right? So if I want to do like any effects and stuff like that, so I'll just put this effect and I'll say something like top 5, let's say this one, what is this about, right? Let's go back to this video, right? See, top 5 ranking best backroom trends, right? I don't even know what that is, but let's say ranking best 5 rank backroom trends. Okay, so next, click next, and then this will generate as the animation stuff, right? So then we can drop this into the timeline like so, and you can basically put this in the top of the timeline, like what I'm trying to show you. So here, let me show you. You can let me do it. Like, you'll put this ad track in the top, right? So we just put that in. So this one right here goes into the top. So I added a track and I put this animation on the top. So watch this. There we go. Obviously, the text is a little bit blurry because in the final outcome it's come better, but you can make it better. You can click on right-click resize, and you can resize each of these elements. Does that make sense? So you can make it bigger, smaller, and all that kind of stuff. You can adjust these elements, and you can do these text effects, all right? So you can set up, move, you can change these elements and stuff, and then it will appear a little bit better, faster, bigger, all that kind of stuff. You get the point. So you can do that. You can also do basic text as well, right? Like you can go in here and not, if it's just text, you can go in, you can even add in the filter section, you see right here, there's titles. So you can even add titles like so. Okay, you can add a title animation here, and then you can add titles. So this is how you do text. The problem is, like, a lot of the times people are like, oh, okay, AI do all the stuff for me, and then it tries to do it and it tries to copy exactly as is with no uniqueness to it. That's when all the problems come in, right? So when I put a title animation here and I go to the setup section for that, all right, and I try to edit this title animation, right? Like you see this is text effect here, like so. The idea is that these little toggles do matter. That's why we have the editor framework within VideoExpress. So there's these kind of things, right? To be able to ensure you can add these title elements and stuff like that. Because a lot of the mistakes people will do, and these folks will disappear, because I've seen it over the last 15 plus years. I've been doing this stuff in a very high level. Okay, I'll remove this element, by the way. You can add these, right? So say top 5, right? And on and on. You get the point, right? Trends. Okay, so does that make sense? So this is what we are aiming to achieve, which is the outcome. Even if you have to use it manually within an application, it is okay. All right, that's the key thing. Even if you have to do this stuff manually, that is okay. Does that make sense? You want to make sure that it is perfect no matter what to get us the outcome. So in the case of shorts, all we are trying to do is we find the channel, then we right click and copy this. Then you're going to go in and you're going to say, give me the text to video prompts for this video, right? And it does a scene by scene breakdown with the exact timestamps. And then it'll say blah, 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 right? So you see this, the link results to blah, blah, blah. This is what it does, normal ChatGPT. When you go into ChatGPT work, okay, which is this tab, okay, it will do the work for you. So like right here, you can just say, you know, split each scene in this video into multiple text to video prompts that I can use VideoExpress.ai to, right, create multiple clips, right, in a unique way. Simple, right? I mean, of course, I have more advanced workflows for this. We'll share in the next live training sessions, but you have to understand the logic behind what we are trying to do, right? And I know some of you folks cannot see this like a little bit that much, but don't worry. What I just said is split each scene and that way. So let me actually see if I can adjust this a little bit better so you guys can see this. Okay, cool, right? So this is what I did. Split each scene into multiple text to video prompts that I can use to do, right? And then you can put any model. I just put like the more recent one. Effort is low, so it doesn't consume too much, too many tokens or cost, whatever. So it'll do the work right here. This is the difference. Okay, one is it's going to inspect it, and then it will download it and blah, 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 right? It's going to get us the text to video prompts step by step. Okay. So you see this, that's the basic idea. It's going to download the video and stuff like that. So as you can see here, just upload the video, it says here. So what I can tell it, I can say, download the video and do the task I assign, right? And then it'll start working on it. And again, you can switch around with this stuff, whatever you want. Doesn't really matter, right? And then it'll do the work for us. It'll run it on the fly. In the case of the application, when you download the desktop application, you get a little bit more specific abilities, because what it'll do is when it's downloading the video, what it will do is trying to download it from your computer, so it doesn't have to go through the web. So it's a little bit easier on the restriction side. So same logic, right? I have my ChatGPT app here. I'll open it up in just a second. The same logic applies there, where it's going to actually do it. You see this? Allow it to access in the cloud browser, allow this. And yeah, I give it approval thing, then it's going to do the actual work for us. And then now it's going to split that into several prompts and sub prompts and stuff like that. Much more powerful in the case of a web, in the desktop application, obviously, because it allows you to do it from your computer and on, right? So I'll show you an example of what I did in my site. So what it did basically is it created like, the actual step-by-step each sequence was a different prompt and stuff, and it then gave it to me in the text to video format. Okay, and that is basically what I did. I came in here. If you go back here, and if I show you what it did for me, so if I go here, my AI videos, each of these videos, let's say I go with the first one. If I go into details, you see these like vertical 9:16 photoreal smartphone video, blah blah blah. This whole thing it generated for me off of that prompt, which is download the video, and every time the clip changes, consider that as a scene, and then each scene give me the text to video prompts. Why text to video? Well, because it's just a prompt, and each of these are like whatever, like 5 seconds clips or 6 seconds. In VideoExpress, you can generate up to 10 seconds or so, right? So 10. In text to video, it can go even higher as well. So it will generate us these basic workflows like I shared with you, correct? And then you can go and then do some really cool things with it. So let me show you what I did here, okay? So you understand this, and you can play around with it across as well. So let me show you this, okay? So what it did is, I'll show you this in just a second so you can clearly see it. All right, so what it did is like, it generated me this prompting structure here when I did it. So let me show you. Yeah, this one right here. So that's what it, and you can do it in the web app as well. So you can basically structure that in the web app as well, but it did this for me. Okay, watch this. Here. So it basically generated this. Let me show you. Okay, cool. So it generated like these sequences. Okay, so like you see this right here, it generated this sequence, this sequence, and stuff like that. Or I can copy and paste each of these, and that's what we're doing in the web app as well. Okay, so I'll show you that. Hopefully it'll do that for me. It's asking, see again, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you ask me this? And I'm allowing it to do it. So this is the problem between the web and the desktop. Desktop, you don't need to give that many permissions. You can basically just does it pretty much on autopilot for us. These steps that we want to download, transcribe, get me each sequences, and get me the prompts. Does that make sense? So when I went into that other system, which I'll show you, it generated me those markdown based prompts on the desktop, right? Pretty straightforward. So it did something like this. So I'll open up my Word document so you can see what it did. So you can see it more clearly. All right. So what it did is something like this, right? It generated me in my computer this stuff. Scene 1 was this vertical video. Scene 2 was this. Scene 3 was this. And scene 4. So what I did is it generated this stuff. I went and I copied this. Right click copy. Went to VideoExpress. Then I went into this option right here, which was, if I put this in nice where you can see it. So I went to text to video. Okay, text to video. Why text to video? It's prompt to video, right? You don't have to do like other this create from prompt or image to video is required. You go here and then you right click. And this is what I did, by the way. I went into the advanced mode here in VideoExpress. Okay. And then what I did is I right clicked and copied and pasted this. I'll explain to you why I went to the advanced mode in just a second. Then I checked advanced mode again here because what I wanted it to do, and I unchecked this automatically enhance because the prompt is already enhanced. So why advanced mode? Because it can readjust the length of the video automatically when the advanced mode is checked. So you don't have to force it to be length. Like for example, here, when I do it, to simplify the use case of the actor speaking, we did the lip sync and all that, right? In advanced mode, you can paste whatever you want here and adhere to that prompt, meaning you'll listen to it and do it as is. And then when I check the advanced mode here, in some cases, let's say it is 9 seconds. Some cases, let's say it is gonna be 11 seconds or whatever. It's gonna merge it and up to about 12 seconds or so to make it proper, right? And that's what I did. So then I did that. And then I clicked on the create video. So it'll auto adjust the length when advanced mode is checked and you put the advanced mode in the text to video. Does that make sense? So then what I did is it basically went in and then it did this other thing and on and on. I pasted these things and I got this workflow. So now, see how I did this process here for you so you could understand it. So the question was, is plus enough? You can even do this with the free thing. The work is included there in the free thing also. The plus one, sometimes maybe if it's better if you're running into some limits or something. What I want you to do, this type of stuff, you don't need the highest end model. Like you just kind of want to do ChatGPT, like this 5.6 I put, right? Like you could put the Luna version. You can put the light version. You can do whatever. It's just, like, you don't need like a lot of intelligence to do this basic stuff. You can do any kind of model to do this stuff. It's not really... The idea is it has to download the video. That's the hard part. You understand? Like before, when we were doing like this type of stuff, if I put my circle again here, like, so you can see me. So before when we do this stuff, the main problem was like you didn't download. Like you wanted to do a task, right? Hey, go to this video, download it, and then get me this stuff. Hey, go to this website and get me these elements of it so I can use it for my, let's say my video creation, prompting, structure, style, or whatever. To do the work and come back to you without making excuses is why you need the desktop app and the work thing. Does that make sense? And it was before hidden behind their Codex platform. Now they merged it in terms of the ChatGPT. So it's easier for the users. Now, there are some people who are going to say, well, this is the ChatGPT thing. While it's doing this, let's see where it's at right now, by the way, so that we know. Okay, cool. See this? It gave me these prompts. You see this? Watch this. So it said, it downloaded the video, obviously. It got it, each is 3 to 4 seconds. Then it gave me the presenter introduces the doorway, right? Camera approaches the doorway. So these are all like the prompts. Same thing, right? You copy this, and then you can come back to VideoExpress, and you can go into text to video, advanced, copy, paste, advanced. I'll remove the enhanced, it's not needed. Click, and you see it says 4 seconds. It's irrelevant. If it needs to be 6 seconds, it'll do 6 seconds. That's the point of the advanced mode, for the animation and the elements of there to be proper, right? In this case, I put landscape. Let me just do vertical because you're going to set this up, this vertical thing on the top properly, right? So to kind of simplify this stuff, like you can do this with Claude or like Gemini or whatever, as long as it's in the desktop scenario where you can allow it to do. I believe Gemini doesn't do this work thing. Claude does it, I believe, right now. I don't know if Grok as well. I've not gone too deep into it. The reason why I like ChatGPT is because they're very focused on the consumer side. So they don't care about developers. So ChatGPT is more on the consumers. So like meaning they want you as an everyday person to use it and do the automations. Anthropic, for example, wants only enterprise developers and stuff like that. So they're not going to be a free plan that might do stuff, or the cheaper plans or whatever to be able to do these workflows, right? With time, obviously, we're going to introduce these into VideoExpress and other tools more directly. The only problem is the API costs are insane, okay? So the subsidization of these, like a $20 plan, right? A month plan, for example, on ChatGPT, it maps out. If we were to put this API into VideoExpress, it's going to map out to like 15x more or 20x more. So that's like, if you were to max out the $20 worth, it's going to cost us $400 to provide the same level of service into VideoExpress. Doesn't make any sense with the pricing we have and stuff, right? And this is the reason why a lot of people nowadays are saying go to ChatGPT and do this, go to Claude and do this, or Gemini and do this, because of the subsidization that's happening on these monthly accounts right here, okay? Just so you understand. That's why I'm trying to do. Once we get an understanding of how these pricing structures will work, then we will introduce them into it as well. But for now, you want to be in the cutting edge. Let me show you what I'm doing, right? Regardless, the cheapest possible way. Okay, cool. Hope that answers the question there, okay? And yeah, that's absolutely correct, okay? So let's see this video. We got these videos generated, right? So let's just check out these videos that it generated for me. And the beauty is, right, every video will look unique, which is what we're aiming for, right? So you see this, every video, in this particular case, it did the 10 seconds thing for me, right? So every video will be unique. And then once you want to improve it, we can say, hey, the hand is not going through the door or whatever. We can tell it, and we can tell that ChatGPT thing to improve it, right? So the hands are not going through the objects. Fix the prompt to force this, let's say, right? And then it's gonna make sure that it'll stress this thing more. Let's say that's the goal, right? And it's gonna think and it's gonna get it done. Okay, you get the point, right? So it just this the whole flow is done within it. And as we go along, this is the work structure we are trying to aim for. Now, in the case of like when we look at it from the perspective of like the bigger picture, what is running behind the scenes, I'll teach you as we go along step by step. But for today, it's very simple, right? If you look at it from a step-by-step fashion, you're gonna, first of all, let's wrap this up in terms of like what we did so far and what we are aiming to do, correct? So what we're gonna do is let's go into a new section. So what we want to do. So let's say I'll zoom this in here. And I'll explain this to you. So first things first, what we want to do is we want to get the work option, preferably in the desktop. So certain restrictions it might have, it'll ask you to approve, whether it's Mac, PC, whatever. You want to put it in the desktop. So you can do these things like downloading the YouTube video or downloading a video or whatever and doing stuff. Or let's say you gave it a document in a Google Drive, it's going to go download that video from the Google Drive. You get the point, right? And the second thing you're going to do is basically like after we are done that, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we structure the ideal avatar. So the ideal avatar who will watch this, okay? If it's short, I only care about entertainment, okay? But if it's an actual outcome I'm aiming to do, then I'm going to see what's the outcome, right? What's the outcome that user. So shorts, so again, coming back to the point, shorts, no matter what people will tell you, it's all about entertainment, okay? If I write this easier. So again, entertainment, okay? And then the long form is all about outcomes, okay? Because depending on what. And here, there's that emotional graph I told you, right? So there's going to be an emotional graph where it's instead of like just that one person sitting and talking, you constantly keep changing the scenes, okay? So emotional graph, meaning the clips are different. This is why we use text to video in VideoExpress. You understand? Because when we are doing emotional stuff, we don't want a consistent character at that point. We want to make sure that it's constantly changing, right? Each element. So that's why we are aiming to do the text to video thing like I showed you, right? So that way it's emotional, it is a graph, right? So it's not one video, it has like this type of emotional graph where instead of like one thing, it's going up, down, up, down, up, down, right? There's an actual flow to it. So that's the outcome, right? You're trying to do here. And this is important. If you don't know this stuff and you don't apply, you'll be sitting there, you'll do 1,000 videos and it doesn't matter anything. You're not going to achieve the outcome you're trying to do. So what I would do then is I would decide which direction I'm going. If you have no product or service that you want to sell, you just care about views, shorts, right? Because then it's easier to do this text to video flow. If we want to do basically the where we want to sell a product or service, generate revenue or whatever, then we want to do this. Okay, depends which direction you want to go in. And once you make that decision, then you can do the ideal avatar planning, this thing, and then you're also going to focus on the outcome, right? as an example. And to put it in perspective, if let's say the market is all about coaching or mentorship, or you're a personal trainer or whatever, the outcome is the result, right? A personal trainer is to get more fit, the user wants to do. So then you have subtasks like nutrition, PDFs you want to generate for them. You want to generate a personalized plan for them on day-to-day workout regimes, right? This is the thing. If you're, let's say, corporate coach, right? You're looking at a person, for example, who might have growth things that they want to focus on, a CEO, or you're focusing on, for example, operation side of things, of how to run an organization. Let's say you're in the how-to market, right? Let's say the market is how to do something, right? How to do fishing, how to be a better golfer, how to do blah, 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 right? Now, the thing then is, how do we be AI proof in that? AI can generate gibberish. What we are trying to do is basically look at the pain that person is trying to go through, right? And we then focus on the aspects of that pain to create the outcome. Okay? So for example, let's say a person who has, let's say, shoulder pain or back pain, they're unable to do better swing in their golf course, right? How do they circumvent the problem they have because of a shoulder injury, or let's say whatever injury they had in the past? You focus on the pain there and you craft the outcome. Then they're more likely to watch all the way through and buy a product or service that you have, correct? At that point, views don't matter. Okay, does that make sense? So it's very important you understand this. I don't really care about these YouTubers and these influencers who say, well, I got a video to 1 million views and stuff only for monetization, maybe. That's it. I don't really care about anything else. So if you go into other platforms, even more like TikTok and these other places, it's even more clear cut because they don't have that good monetization anywhere, like Instagram and stuff. So the idea is that what am I going to do with that? So you'll see quite a bit of things which is going to be like comment, right, in Instagram and TikTok and stuff. Hey, comment to get this, or comment to get my guide, or whatever. Why is that the case? Because that is focused on the selling aspect, because you cannot have the time to explain the product in a nutshell to people, right? So we say comment, 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 and then we can private message them and do some work there. Okay, so this is the nutshell. So meaning I'm teaching you how to fish here. Then we can use AI to get the fish for us. And then we can integrate with VideoExpress to generate the videos for us. Then you can do your clone voice to generate the voices for us, and so on and so forth, right? Artistic to generate the image workflows and stuff like that. So this is the change, okay, that happened. So when I was explaining to you earlier in the video when you were watching it, the main change was understanding what is my outcome that I'm trying to do, right? Is it a short video? Is it the goal is just views? Okay, and entertainment, or is it a long form video where the goal is to get an outcome to a person, right? If I know that the bridge is very big, then I can focus only on long form only, or only focus on short form only, whatever. And then each of these will have different dynamics, right? Whatever the outcome it is that you're achieving. Because here, you can get the work thing to do all the work for you, like getting the scene prompts and stuff like that. But in the end, to do basic text additions or do some cropping to make it a little bit interesting and stuff, we can do all that in VideoExpress, right? In VideoExpress, because it has the editor built in, it has the titles elements built in, it has multiple stuff like integrations with clonevoice.ai, where you can bring in your own voice, right? So it has that clone voice .ai integration, for example, where you can bring in your own voice. It has Artistly, for example, where you can bring multiple sequences and stories and stuff like that, and multiple images and stuff to create scenes for you automatically and stuff like that, right? So that way you do that human part, okay? Very important. The human part will always be important. No matter what people tell you, human part is very, very important, okay? So this is the basic structure, okay? So now, we discussed how to replicate short form, right? We can go to work, you just give it a video, and then you tell it, hey, download this video and give me text to video prompts to get it into VideoExpress. It'll understand, because I've already ChatGPT knows what VideoExpress is. It already knows what VideoExpress can do. You don't have to do any GPTs or anything like that, right? That's first thing. Second thing is, what I want you to understand is, now I want to talk a little bit about the long form content, okay, the structure, because in the next training videos and stuff, I'll be focusing on that. And even in this YouTube channel, even in the emails and stuff like that, my goal is to give away as much of this training is for free. We're not going to sell you a course on how to go viral on YouTube or whatever. Nothing. It's going to be always free, okay? Nothing. We're not going to sell you for anything like that, right? Never. The goal will be, because we make enough money with VideoExpress, Artistly, and stuff like that, where the training should be free, right? The courses should be free. So my goal is, when I'm going to give you this stuff for free in the coming days, weeks, and stuff like that, understand that I'm coming from the logic of experience, and understand that my goal here is to ensure you get to the outcome that you desire, whatever your goal is. If you don't understand that, then everything I teach you will be irrelevant, right? So now let's talk a little bit about now where we need to focus on when it comes to long form content. Okay, so this is something I wanted to also talk about a little bit in the case of long form. So the irony is, in the long form content, okay, this is why the beauty here comes, the first, okay, 60 seconds matters. Okay, does that make sense? The first 60 seconds matters. So the strategies that you utilized in the short form content, the short forms are all like tiny, right? Also applies here in the first 60 seconds. So this is another reason why knowing both is important. Okay, because whatever you're talking about in the short form, it's kind of like, think of like short form like a trailer, right? Say it's a trailer. We think of it like a trailer to the long form. Okay, because that way you saw that retention, right? Like the graph comes all the way, boom, goes, like, you know what I mean? So within the first 30 seconds, 70% people leave. Generally, like maybe 50% might leave. So it still matters learning this, okay? In a nutshell, to understand it from a practical standpoint, okay? So what I want to kind of talk about a little bit is, I'm going to be creating in the next coming couple of weeks a lot of content on this topic, and I'm going to be giving it away for free to you, and it'll be in this YouTube channel that you can watch. It'll be in our Facebook group and stuff. So if you haven't joined our Facebook group, for sure, basically you join this, right? You see that right here, pona.com/FB. You can join our Facebook. 85,000 people are there, just like you, and I'll be posting there as well, and communicating with you and answering questions and that sort of thing as well as time goes on. What I do want you to understand, though, is that customizing a solution to each of you is becoming hard for me. So I'm going to give you a system where you can use these workflows and stuff in a systemized way. I'm going to give you my skills. I'm going to give you my existing automated workflows and all these things in one place, and how to integrate them with our applications. So the goal will be that you can go in and apply it, and whichever applies to you, you're going to use. Not everything applies to it. Somebody's only interested in shorts and generating revenue with AdSense has no business doing long form content. It's silly. You better focus on one thing, right? And the same way applies the other way around. Somebody wants to sell a product or service and generate revenue. You should have no business generating 1 million views or whatever. Even monetization is irrelevant at that point, because what you're really looking for is somebody watched my video and then they come back to my website or my service or product, or book a call with me, or whatever the goal is, to basically sell my product or service, right? Or book an appointment or whatever it might be. So considering this, I want you to understand the logic behind the whole flow, right? So this is what I've been building over the last about almost 6 months now, and to basically get you to these systems. So what are the prerequisites of all these things? Whether you use Claude or you ChatGPT or whatever, understand that we are moving more into this work, okay? Otherwise, this chat thing is just for research. If you understand that much, okay, it'll understand you to kind of follow what I'm going to be teaching you as time goes on. And this work is actually tasks, okay, where you do stuff, right? And this is the separation, okay? If you separate both of them, then you'll know where to put what, right? What to do where it is do better. And time is going on where more and more is going here, right? So more of focus on all these platforms is here, because that's when they can charge you money, right? If it's taking me like, let's say, an employee to do this stuff I'm teaching you right now, which in many cases, right, I don't have the money or the time to offload tasks, it can do it. And a lot of the times what I would say is, even in the AI doom and gloom people, that they say there's a lot of problems with AI, like corporations are just hoarding GPUs, which is making a really difficult part for us, where servers and stuff, we have to spend so much much money than before. Like just the last 8 months, our prices have gone up in the data center side, like 60%, 55% and stuff to what we were paying data centers and cloud providers and stuff like that. We did not pass on that to you as VideoExpress customers, Artistly customers, and CloneWise customers, because we are so good in marketing and customer acquisition and stuff like that, that we're okay, but understand others are not doing it. That's what separates us from everybody else, right? But I can teach you these concepts as well as time goes on, right? So now the idea is that as things are going more into the work side, understand that it's going to be critical for you to look at the separation between the human, right, and the AI. What I want you to understand is that from my understanding here, and from experience of spending tons of money on this, I've consumed like hundreds of millions of credit tokens, right, on all these things, in Claude and ChatGPT. I've paid for everything, right? Spent almost $10,000 or so in the last couple of months on this stuff. And what I've learned is that you have to treat AI as something where, hey, before, to build a website, I needed to hire somebody, offload the task to somebody, explain to them what I want. That alone would have taken me 3 weeks, right? Back and forth. Instead, if I give it to the AI to work, instead of me even ignoring that task that was beyond my scope of understanding, was beyond what I could do, now I'll actually do it, right? Because I can do it now, where before I gave up, right? Before I even did it, because it cost me money to hire people, to give them tasks and manage them and all that, which I don't have time to do, let's say, or the money to do. That is where AI comes in. Second thing, really, really good in augmenting certain specific instructions you give it. So people like me who can develop systems for you, right, that works, right, across different platforms and channels and stuff, is becoming important. But the problem with systems is personalization of that is hard, right? So let's say, for example, you're a type of person who has a specific type of business, which is a service business and not a product business. Well, the focus is different. Service businesses are appointment based. You want to get an appointment to a chiropractor, a dentist, or a physiotherapist, or a doctor. Appointments. That's the end goal. If you're trying to do an e-commerce product, a physical product, or a digital product, sales, right? How many people came in? How many people purchased? So different, right? If you apply a system with these AI things that applies across the board, it's struggling, okay? So this is why we have to have this mapping out structure ahead of time, and we got to know why we're doing what we're doing and what the outcomes are and what the end goals are, okay? And what pain and what are we trying to solve for in the market, okay? And once you get that, easy, okay? Life becomes easier for you, less stress for you, because you have clarity, right? One of the biggest reasons anxiety we get is if you're not sure of the outcome, right? We're not sure what is it we need to do, right, to get to the finish line. And we get scared because we don't know where to start. There's 10 options. So instead of we get that clarity, you're okay, I'm only going to focus on long form because I have a product or service. Hey, I don't have a product or service. So before I build it, I'm just going to focus on shorts only, right? And then it's going to give you clarity on what type of content to create, where AI comes into play, where, like these automated workflows that Paul is giving me comes to play, and also basically what I need to focus on, what type of questions to ask, okay? And one of the things that I realized, like I've spent time with mentors of mine who have made hundreds of millions of dollars, worked with the prime ministers here in Canada, for example, and stuff like that. And what I found out is the difference between successful people who can leverage a mentor, like, how do I get a mentor? Is the quality, okay, of questions you ask, okay? So, for example, you don't go to a successful, entrepreneur who's done hundreds of millions of dollars, and you don't go to that person and say, how did you become successful? That's the same thing, right? You cannot go to ChatGPT and say, how do you become successful either, right? Or Gemini or Claude. Instead, you're going to say, hey, I'm interested in the real estate space, let's say, and you're a real estate investor. You made a lot of money on it. What type of asset classes would you invest in? I see you bought land. I see you bought, let's say, apartment buildings. Why apartment buildings and not commercial plazas or like industrial places? What do you find interesting in that? Oh, by the way, I did see an apartment building here that I found the data for it. Can you please explain to me, is it a good deal or not? And if so, why? Because my opinion is that it is pretty good because it's in this area, blah, 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 right? Very specific questions. That's how you build mentorship. Same thing, specific questions to be asked in ChatGPT, right? When people come to these webinars and these live streams, same thing I suggest you to do. Even after this live stream is done, ask specific questions that apply to you instead of just saying like, oftentimes I see questions like this, which just kind of saddens me, right? Hey, VideoExpress, right? Can I do 2-hour videos with it? Like, can I do 2 hours? It's like so funny. Can I do 2 hours with VideoExpress videos? Wrong question. You got to go backwards. What is the goal? Is it going to be monetized? Then do shorts. Is it to generate revenue on AdSense because you don't have a product or service? Do shorts. If it is going to be where I want to go get millions of views, that's my goal. Shorts. If it is a product and at that point, 2 hours or whatever is irrelevant, you got to do 30-second, 60-second videos, right? The second thing is if you're going to do, for example, long form content, right? It's not the length that matters. It's the outcome you're trying to achieve. Okay. And so the idea is like outcome, right? So the question will be, okay, I'm trying to be in this market, in this niche, and in this industry. How do I create the video? How do I craft the video? Then we can discuss, okay, how do we look at the pain, right? That market is. People only buy for what pain you're trying to solve for, right? What are you solving for? What pain are you solving, right? And what can you offer them based on that pain? Why is it yours different? Why is your product or service different? You see now, it's very different. Length is irrelevant at that point. It's not even about lip sync or non-lip sync. It doesn't matter. Like we do these trainings on how do you create stickman videos? How do you create 2D animation videos, 3D animation videos, realistic videos? All of them work if you focus on the pain and what we're trying to solve for, right? It's the question of understanding that and not trying to do that. And I can tell that, like when people say a question about what the length of the video you could create, or let's say, for example, they say like, can I create, like high level animation videos like Hollywood does or whatever? Wrong question, right? It's kind of like I can tell right away if you can succeed or not, right? And it's very straightforward. It's quality of questions. When you're trying to do things and you know what you're trying to solve for, it make it easier for you to ask questions, right? And to be able to solve for it. And also about understanding what context you are trying to do, right? So for example, my entire YouTube channel must have made last year, right? Just about, to put it in perspective, I think something like $40,000 or something, right? So 40K it did in about 365 days, okay? Last year, okay? My business alone, right? Just one of my businesses, one of our software companies, did over 12 million last year, okay? What is important? Is it this 40K more important or this is more important? Okay. So you see what I'm saying? You got to understand, right? So then if my goal, I don't really care on this AdSense stuff. Okay. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's irrelevant to me. So if I was optimizing for this alone, I would have focused on shorts. I would have focused on other things because I'm optimizing for the business side, right? This area right here. Okay. This business side, then outcomes and pain and stuff like that. And because I'm optimizing for that, I spend time here. Our team spends time with you on these live streams and stuff like that to ensure that we can solve the main pain points for you. How do we improve our products and how do we create the workflows? How do we think as we are growing our own business, right? How do we apply and stuff? And how do we do that, right? Because if I don't do it that way and what I'm applying is failing, I learn from my mistakes and I improve as time goes on. You have to do the same, okay? What we're finding out right now, the difference between even our most successful customers, right? We talk to our customers all the time, is the difference is not a person who expects one video will get results or one result, one thing, image they generate, or one storybook they generate with Artistly or whatever. What we're finding is the person who does that 1% improvement, right? Every week, right? Where they found that I tried this video, it didn't work out. Can I try something else? Because you can do unlimited videos, right? With VideoExpress and unlimited images with Artistly, unlimited voice clones and voices, and all of them are integrated, right, into VideoExpress. Because you can do unlimited, right? You don't have to worry about failing, right? So improve. What can I do differently, right? Okay, this video I put, it didn't get any views on YouTube. Okay, what can I improve? Okay, this particular long form video that I created, the outcome was probably not very defined because I didn't see any comments on the video, right? Or in this particular video I created, but what I found out is that the audience retention dropped. It crashed within 30 seconds. So what can I do in the first 5 seconds, right? These are the little things. If you can figure it out, right, understand it and improve, right, it's exponential. right? Like a person who's improving 1% a week, right? It's not like, let's say 50 weeks in a year, 52 weeks, whatever. The point is they're not improving 50%. They're improving 50 times in many cases, because this 1% improvement every time can be the difference between a video getting 10,000 views or 0 views, right? In many cases, or 10 views or something, as these algorithms work, okay? So understand that, okay? So that you understand. So now, in terms of the scheduling, I'm seeing some specific questions. All of them are good questions, okay? I will... I'll kind of explain to them here. So what about scheduling, right? How do you work on schedules, right? Like how many videos do I post and stuff like that? So just to understand that the schedule, what matters more than anything is it has to be habitual, okay? What I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you're comfortable spending for long form video, let's say, and you can only do one per week. Long form, right? That's good enough. As long as you continue consistent. In the shorts, you want to post a little bit more, but let's say, for example, you can only consistently do 3 good, right? Good videos per week. It's okay. Better focus on what you're comfortable with, okay? As life goes on, you realize what happens, the difference between people who are like fit and people who are like even in health and stuff like that. I've been working on my health a lot. Not so much that I want 6-pack abs. I have like maybe 4 now or whatever, 4-pack abs or whatever. But that's not the goal, right? The goal is consistency, right? Consistency. Like I used to be so unfit where like I'd be skinny before, for example, but like I'd still have a protruding belly, or like, I'd not be healthy. Like I'm trying to walk my, like for example, when my son was born, he's 2 years old now. But when he was born, he was a baby, right? I was trying to run around the house and trying to do some chores for the baby. I couldn't have the energy, right? I might look skinny, but what's the point of having all that? So what I figured out is, hey, in the gym or when you're walking out or whatever, me doing 10 hours worth of workout in a day, right, means nothing. Even if I just do 10 minutes per day, right, it's better, right? You see what I'm saying? 10 minutes per day is better than doing 10 hours in one day, because our body is that way. Similarly, YouTube is the same. These algorithms were designed by humans, right? They think the same. So instead of you trying to do 10 videos a day, think about what's comfortable for you, where you can safely do it without stressing out, without having anxiety, and you're in a happy zone, right? When you're in a happy zone, it shows, right? I've done videos, I'll tell you, where I was not very happy to do it. Like, for example, for lack of preparation or lack of, let's say, that subject matter, I needed more time to share, but I was forced to do it in a 10-minute tutorial type of format. Or let's say it was a entertainment video. I didn't like doing that type of content. And I can tell the views drop, okay? Nothing to do with the style, nothing to do with like the effort put in, nothing. It's just that, consistently I cannot do that. So therefore it shows in the effort, the fun I'm having and all that, right? So this little details like these matter as time goes on. Okay. So now what's the plan here? Okay. So knowing all this stuff, right? What I want you to start doing as homework for today is just first step 1 is get this ChatGPT work thing and start playing around with it to understand what works. Like the main thing I would do is give it a YouTube video, right? And do it in your desktop. It's easier. And then tell it to download the video, right? And tell it to split this video to scenes, right? Assuming it's scenes in the short format, right? So if I write it better. And then what I want you to do is tell it to also, for that matter, once it's scenes, convert this into text to video prompts for VideoExpress, right? If you can do this much, you're done, because you get the point, right? Then you get the fundamentals and you can apply it. And so on and so forth, right? Because then you can just apply it. And just make sure in VideoExpress, if it's a short video, it's 9:16 vertical. You don't want to do shorts which are horizontal, right? So you do 9:16 vertical. So these are your homework points. Then what I'm going to do in the coming 2 weeks, I'm working really hard on this to get this done for you, is I'm going to do fully free workflows for you, which I am doing right now, that is improving my own channel's results, my research, getting a channel to double its revenue, getting a channel to triple its views and stuff like that. So I'm going to give you the free workflows that you can plug in, right? Into these ChatGPT platforms, Claude and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to give that to you so that you can apply it and into your use cases, okay? Whatever you need, whatever you want to do. You got to decide on that. Everything happens with the decision, right? So you apply it. And then what I'm going to also do is I'm gonna basically distill all my knowledge over the years, because I'm telling you, right? You give me a YouTuber, right, who has maybe 2 million subscribers, but all of their content is short form content, right? Say, my channel, first of all, might make more money than them in just AdSense alone, but the business will make more than what they'll make in their lifetime in just 1 year, right? Or even 1 month in many cases, depending on what the lifetime earnings may be, right? So the question then is, what is different, right? So what is different here? Okay. What is being done differently that we can do to separate ourselves? That's something I'm going to be teaching you as well, so you understand, because it's not just about vanity metrics, right? It's just about understanding what is our goal, what do we want to do, what do we want to achieve, and stuff like that, and go from there. Okay. So I'm going to be doing this stuff for you. So watch out for my emails, watch out for our Facebook group, and watch out for more video tutorials in our YouTube channel itself, the one you're watching right now. I'm also testing this same frameworks across other channels, which I don't want to share with you right now because some are not working and some are working. But I want to make sure that it's repeatable for you. What I'm finding out is when I do these workflows and when you try to apply this stuff, sometimes you're not able to replicate it properly. So I'm figuring out why is that not being able to be replicated properly. So what can I do to stress test it such that it works in different use cases, such that I can simplify it for you? So I'm trying to make those systems as well. So watch out for those as well. Again, all will be for free. The question though is, please, main thing I want to mention here is, just because it's free, right, doesn't mean it's invaluable. Okay. I'm giving it to you for free because I don't need to make money from it at all. Okay. We make enough money, as I said, from VideoExpress and stuff, which is a harder challenge. Doing these workflows, I do it anyway in our business because we have like 50 plus employees. So I have to create systems for them and all that kind of stuff. So I do it anyway out of interest and for passion and fun. But I could sell it and make money, but then it's not accessible. And the bigger challenge for us is applications like VideoExpress and Artistly and CloneVoice and some of these applications out there. How do we still maintain the pricing? Like we've had the same pricing for these platforms for the last 3 to 4 years. But electricity costs have gone up, right? Machine learning engineer salaries have gone up. Just electricity costs, data center costs, RAM costs, all these have gone up 3x or so. The harder challenge is that, right? How do we make sure that we can make those affordable still for people? And maybe we won't, maybe we will, but that's a bigger challenge. This is easy stuff, right? So the question then is, will you apply, right? Just because it's free. That's the number one thing. If you are going to apply, let me know in the chat box. Yes, because then you'll understand that somebody is spending the time to do it and give it away for free, not because they can't make money from it, but because they want to basically give you all the resources so that you can succeed. And also the harder challenge can be simplified for us, where once you use these workflows and you give us feedback, we can actually improve our own products, right? Which are the harder problem products. Like for example, in VideoExpress, if we know that most people are using a specific feature, we can actually save our server resources to focus more on those 5 or 6K features and workflows where people are getting results on, and eliminate like those 25 features where only like a dozen people use, for example. It's a pointless thing, right? So that way we can, focus more on that, make those features better and all that. So that's the bigger goal out of this whole idea here. It's beneficial for us as well. Okay. So that's the basic idea. All right. So now the questions that I do get, okay, so that this is the best question I was going to do. So this is exactly what the plan is. Okay. So in the YouTube channel, we're going to have like stuff which is going to be 15 to 20 minutes long content. The live streams like this will still be live, where it will be mostly Q&A. Okay. Where you're going to do that main steps, that 20 minutes will be there. And then the Q&A will be to answer your questions so that we can customize it to your desire. So it'll be both. So you're going to have videos will be posted in our channel, in our tutorials page and stuff, which is going to be like this. Even this one that I shared with you, because I'll simplify it. I'll go step by step and stuff. And the live streams will be mostly Q&A so that every question you have on the application side of things will be answered. Okay, so that you have both steps because I want to do that Q&A, because otherwise, sometimes you don't get the benefit of me having me live and answer your questions and stuff, right? And the other thing as well is that that I wanted to kind of mention as well is like questions like these, right? Which program for song development is clonevoice.ai, okay? So this is the application, for example. The clonevoice.ai application does this really well. It can do songs, you can sing in your own voice as well. We added that feature recently where you can upload your own voice, even just talking, not even singing, and it can sing like you. Okay, so it sounds like you basically. And the other thing as well is basically where how long is long form? What do you suggest? Same question. See, think of it this way. I'll reframe that question again back to you. Like I'll ask that question back to you. You said to me just now where you wanted it in short form, 15 to 20 minutes, or you said it even shorter, so it's easier to consume, right? So in your market, maybe the easier to consume might be 3 minutes for long form, right? Depending on the audiences, the age group and stuff. You don't have to do that long, right? Same question you're asking me, think of it, your users, your customers, your prospects, they'll be thinking the same thing, okay? That's the basic general idea of this. And then the other question was this is the good point. Exactly this, okay? Which is good questions, by the way. Okay, now the idea is that you see $1,000 for my first app that I created. You got to understand now basically what are you using these tokens or these credits and these applications for, right? In the case of app development, what I would like to think about is distribution, right? Why should people, like tomorrow, let's look at the future, right? And this is why we don't have an AI app builder tool, right? We don't do it. We could have made a lot of money doing it, but we don't. The reason why we don't do it is without distribution, meaning without being able to generate traffic and downloads for that application. It costs a lot of money these days to do advertising for app downloads. You could be spending like $5, $10 or so for each download, even a free download app, right? So the question then becomes distribution. And what's the best way to do distribution? Videos, right? Where you can do tutorial videos and use case videos, outcome-based videos of what you're trying to do with the app. And that's how where people will just not even care about the free trial. They're going to buy our free download. They're going to just go straight to the paid application version, right? And the other thing is you see how you're saying like, I have to like, look at the token costs and stuff. This is why we built VideoExpress, Artistly, and CloneVoice and stuff like that, where it's unlimited use and one-time payment. Of course, we do have like some fair use policies there to prevent where that, one or two people might do abuse it, but 99.99% people never hit the fair use usage anyways. So the point is like, because of that, it gives you this idea of like, you don't want to spend that $1,000, because once you see that $1,000 number, you get scared, right? You start getting worried about it and stuff. So this is the reason why we want to make sure that, you use these tools that you have available, use the smaller ChatGPT account, a free account if needed, and then also use our VideoExpress, Artistly, CloneVoice and stuff, and use as many videos as possible to experiment and generate revenue with it, or leads with it, or traffic with it, or monetization, whatever the end goal is, and go from there, okay? And that's the main idea, okay? And specifically as well, where you have to also focus on where it is that we are heading towards with AI, right? As things go on, little details matter. And that's why we know in our support team, for example, we try to guide you through these things, right? And make sure that like, for example, this was a question that came in, for example, right? My voiceover length doesn't matter. If you watched our tutorials, you will know that when you are using VideoExpress, whether it's create from prompt or text to video and stuff, like in the case of create from prompt, if you come here, and let's say you're trying to create a lip sync video or like whatever, you see this advanced mode, this one right here. This is what you want to use to ensure that automatically it'll adjust itself based upon the prompt here length. Okay, if it takes 8 seconds, it does up to 12 seconds, right? So it readjusts it. Same thing in text to video too, by the way. Remember I just showed you now, where if you followed my training just now, if you just text to video here, let's say the video prompt says like 2 people are talking and 1 person says this, second person says this or whatever, and you wanted to make sure that it adheres to that straight up, as long as it's within that 12-second mark, it will do it here in the advanced mode. So you're gonna have to generate the advanced mode on and then put the advanced mode here. That's critical for the lip sync aspect to match the length throughout. That's why we made the advanced mode. It's for that like extra 1 or 2 seconds here and there. In some cases, it might be 8 seconds only, that clip. So you don't want to like sit there and the people are staring, 2 people are staring at the blank screen kind of thing, right? So this is why we made this advanced mode, right? And of course, if you want to match the voice and stuff, we do have that voice changer functionality in the tutorials page. Do watch it in the tutorial section, right? So if you go to the tutorial section for VideoExpress, you'll see under here, you're gonna find basically like the voice changer feature, so that you can actually, and we've done some other updates like audio waves to your videos, transition between effects and stuff like that we've added recently, smart edit v2 and stuff like that. But this one is what you want to do, voice changer and save audio, to ensure the consistency of the voice throughout can be maintained, especially for longer length videos. Okay. Sometimes AI does not know what voice to put and stuff. You want to use this feature, for example. Okay. All right. So I do see a couple other questions I'll answer. And after this, just for length purposes, I'm going to cut it short. But do watch out for my emails and stuff for more shorter form, 15, 20, 30, 25 minutes with actual workflows and stuff you can duplicate and stuff as I keep testing them and do it. But understand the concept behind what we're doing, right? Your goal will be to understand that and apply it as well. Okay. And the other thing as well is that for today, I'm not doing a workflow doc. The reason why I'm not doing it is I want you to actually understand the concept behind this work thing. So for example, you can tell it in human-like instructions, this thing, where you can download it and you can say, okay, download the video, then go give me the text to video prompts and stuff, and you can chat with it. I want you to learn that. Then if my systems and workflows I give you fail or don't hallucinate and stuff, you know exactly how to fix it, right? So the idea is that today I want you to understand this, use this. It's a new feature that got released like I think yesterday or something in ChatGPT. And the idea is that, okay, download it into your computer and make it do tasks for you. Like in this case, a video that you give it, and understand how to get the text to video prompts to then use for VideoExpress and stuff. Then if it makes mistakes, you can chat with it and improve it. And when I give you the systems, which I'm planning to do in the next 2 to 3 weeks, meaning every week I'll give you something new for sure, that you can do if it doesn't perfectly align. Maybe mine is English only and you want to do Spanish videos or something. Or let's say, for example, mine doesn't come with your voice, let's say, and you want to integrate with clonevoice.ai to bring your own voices, right? To clone your voice. Mine is generic voices. These things you can then work on that customization of my workflows and rebuild it, right? For your use case. That's the goal. If you don't understand the fundamentals, it's like when you're trying to go step by step by step, but your use case is slightly different from mine, then you'll struggle there, right? Because you get stuck, which I don't want to do, which is the main reason people don't apply things later on, right? Many times. So that's the main thing, right? And the other thing as well that I want to do is make sure, like, if you have questions like this after this live stream is done as well, make sure that you post them in the chat. So I check every single comment as well after the live stream, and my team checks it as well, so that we can improve our products and also improve things as time goes on, right? So for example, in this case, CloneVoice AI doesn't seem to create just music without singing. I just want an instrumental track, but I don't see that option. Hey, it's there. Let me show you where it is, okay? So actually, let me pull it up here real quick, so that I can open up the CloneVoice app here, and you can see what I'm talking about. All right, cool. Let's open this up, and let's go to the app. All right, cool. So I'm in the CloneVoice app here. Let's cut this up. All right, so in CloneVoice, the instrumental topic, okay, this is why we have tutorials as well, by the way, but I'm just telling you. So you see here, in the top 3 options, in the 3 buttons here, when you come down, you're going to see this, create instrumental SFX, this option right here. So you're going to come here, you're going to click on this. And here it says non-instrumental and instrumental. What do we mean by that? Non-instrumental could be like, let's say an epic battle music or sounds, right? Like you want a lion sound or like lion roaring sound or something. Then you click on instrumental. Here you can describe what instrument you have, and then you see we have like enhanced prompts. So for example, let's say the instrumental is a violin playing, let's say melody on romantic relationships or something, right? And breakups, right? And then you say here, you can play it, and then you can click on this enhance prompt, and enhance, it's gonna then add more details on how you want to replicate it, right? So you see this, a violin and poignant, often bittersweet melody, strings weaving narrative, intertwined hearts, inevitable parting. I have no clue. Vibrato trembles. Okay, fine, I'll use this. And you give it duration. Let's say you want to give it 30 seconds. Let's say the video length is that. Click generate sound, boom, it's done. It's gonna give you that, okay? So that's the basic idea of instrumentals. Okay, if it's not in your dashboard, you may have to upgrade your account. Maybe it's for like the just go to your purchases, my purchases, you'll see, make sure that you're having either the elite or you have the all access account. Make sure you do that if it's not available in your account, because that'll be the up-to-date version of it. Okay, just something you want to check. All right, cool. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is questions like this. Don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section because we're checking every single one of them. And also, a lot of times people ask us like, hey, what are your other products and stuff like that. So all of them are here. So when you go to this website, Pona.com, so if I go here, you'll find all our products here. See, the Clone Voice application is right here. Artistry is right here. VideoExpress, Talking Photos, Human Palette, and on, right? Click sites for site design, and on, right? Why these are good is they communicate with each other. Like Clone Voice is directly integrated into VideoExpress to bring your cloned voices, your music that sounds like you and stuff into VideoExpress. Direct integration. You just take a key that Clone Voice will give you, and then you put it into VideoExpress. Easy. There's a tutorial on how to do that in the tutorials page. Artistly. In the case of Artistly, for example, you can like generate storybooks, images, designs. Like you want to do 50 images together, 30 image book or story book, or let's say you want to create multiple scenes and images for that to bring into VideoExpress to animate them. So you can do 30 at a time, 25 at a time, whatever, right? Multiple in bulk and bulk upscale, right? Bulk download, whatever, right? And then you can bring them all into VideoExpress with a direct integration so you can animate all of them, right? There's an actual tutorial for this as well. That you can play around with as well on how to integrate all of these together as well. You'll find them in the video tutorial section of VideoExpress. If you go into VideoExpress and you do just search for it, where you do Clone Voice or whatever, you see this right here, VideoExpress Artistry plus Clone Voice integration. There's a full video on YouTube. You can research it in this YouTube channel and you'll find this, how to integrate all of them together to get the benefit out of them fully, right? So stuff like this, basically, okay? Keep this in mind. All right, and the other thing I always wanted to mention is as we go along, what we are trying to do is create like automated systems for you to simplify these things. So I understand that they might be a little bit in terms of complexity for you to get started a little bit harder, but understand like we are doing all the testing behind the scenes to simplify it for you. Your job is just to understand what market am I entering, what product or service I'm selling, what's my goal, is it views or shorts or whatever. Once you align that, which I taught you today, those workflows, those systems will be a piece of cake, right? Very, very easy for you to implement. So what I'll do is I'll end this right now. Hope you found this helpful. Make sure you post the comments in the comment section as well after this live stream is done. Okay, so that way what I can do is I can answer them as well because I check every single comment. So make sure you do that. So thanks again for being here. Watch out for other tutorials where all the workflows will be shared. All the other skills that I'm learning, that I'm implementing and condensing for you are being done. So watch out for that as well. They'll all be posted in a nice place. Nothing to buy, everything for free. So watch out for those as well. And finally, make sure that the homework items I'm assigning you today are done. Download the ChatGPT, set up the work thing on your computer, and then third thing is start just as a basic step one, which is to download the video and then get that video transcribed, plus also get that video stages, right, the scenes into text to video prompts, like what I did here in VideoExpress right here. So I got these done as different scenes, right, text to video prompts to generate these scenes step by step. Similar logic, right? The same thing I want you to do as a starting point, okay? So that will give you an understanding of why it is that we are doing what we're doing. What can this ChatGPT work thing do? And of course, if you use Claude, it's the same thing, right? Claude Cowork, same thing, right? Nothing really different, pretty much. Other ones like Gemini have not caught on. Google, they're pretty slow. I don't know what's up with them, but if Google ends up doing it in the future, I'll happy to give you the Google stuff as well. Up to you. It doesn't really matter. The system is what matters, right? The step-by-step process. So thanks again for being here. Appreciate you taking the time to watch this through. Watch out and make sure you post the comments. I check every single comment. Anything you need, let me know. And of course, watch out for other training videos as well as time goes on. Okay, I'll be doing a lot of them in the next 2 weeks, so watch out for them. And whatever works for you, use that. Whatever doesn't work for you, yeah, keep it in the back burner for when you're ready for using them, right? That's the goal. So take care. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.